Welcome back to Die Hard. Hey everyone, it's Movie Lover 120 here, and I'm here with a brand new movie review, and this movie review is going to be for the third installment in the Die Hard series and the third episode of the launch and the revival of the Die Hard movie review series that I started back in last December 2020, last year. And this one is going to be for the very third installment of the series, aka my second favorite Die Hard movie ever, Die Hard with a Vengeance. aka the very first Die Hard movie in the series to not be set during Christmas. It is now set during the summertime. So anyway, this one was released in 1995, about 5 years after Die Hard 2. And so what is the plot of this one? John McClane, 5 years later, is now almost a full-blown alcoholic and is suspended from the NYPD. But when a bomb goes off in the Bond Whitteller department store, the police go insane trying to figure out what's going on. Soon, a man named Simon calls and asks for McClane. Simon tells Inspector Walter Cobb that McClane is going to play a game called Simon Says. He says that McClane is going to do the tasks he assigns him. If not, he'll set off another bomb with the help of a Harlan electrician. John McClane must race all over New York trying to figure out the frustrating puzzles that the crafty terrorist gives him. But when a bomb goes off in a subway station right by the Federal Reserve, the biggest gold storage in the world, things start to get heated. So yeah, that's the plot of the film. McClane also teams up with a new friend of his named Zeus to stop Simon Gruber. Now let me recap the series. Die Hard, released in 1988, is easily my all-time favorite action movie and my second favorite Christmas movie of all time. Die Hard 2, the first sequel to the film, released in 1990 and the last installment to have a Christmas theme, is an enjoyable sequel but isn't as good as the first one because it kind of rehashes the first movie a bit, except that one is set in John's hometown of New York at an airport instead of his wife's hometown in California like the first one was. Now this one, on the other hand, the third movie of the series, is easily my second favorite Die Hard movie behind the original. Really love how this kind of feels more like a proper sequel to that film a little bit more than Die Hard 2 really was. Especially the fact that John McTiernan is back to direct this movie. This movie is also set during the summertime instead of the Christmas season like the last two were. Here are all the good qualities of this sequel. The good qualities are, once again, Bruce Willis gives a very terrific performance as John McClane. John McClane's probably my favorite performance from Bruce Willis ever. And even newcomer Samuel L. Jackson gives a very good performance as McClane's new companion Zeus Carver as well, and he's very entertaining as Zeus Carver. And also good performance is Jeremy Irons as Simon Gruber, who's actually aka Hans Gruber's brother, who's a pretty good villain. He wanted to destroy a lot of buildings or even New York City itself. And I think Simon Gruber is probably my second favorite performance of Jeremy Irons, behind Scar from The Lion King. There are lots of great action scenes in this movie, especially like driving the taxi car and going to the subway train, preventing the destroying of the subway train, all the car chases, and etc. It's a perfect follow-up to 1 and 2, and it's actually, surprisingly for a third installment, usually most of the time third installments suck, but Die Hard with a Vengeance is one of the few third installments that's actually really good. And the opening song called Hot Town Summer in the City is very catchy. And yet again, the iconic line of the whole franchise, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," always still appears, and it's like the first tune. It's still used perfectly in this. And I really love the really deep scene where Zeus tells his kids about racial issues. It's actually very important and actually a very deep thing as he's kind of trying to teach his kids about the real world, which is very nice. And now on to Zeus. Zeus Carver is this very likable supporting character and very funny one too, and he's easily one of the best parts of this film. And the idea of trying of a film, and the idea of in this film, the idea of trying to save the whole entire New York City from destruction is very interesting. And it's especially compared to the last two, which were saving a building and an airplane, both full of people the last two times. The acting is still amazing as well, just like the first two films are, like I've already said, and I especially love the visual effects, especially for the explosions. They have some of the best visual effects of the 90s ever, and even the water has some great visuals too. Like, these are some of the best visual effects of the 90s, and I can't... 90s a lot. And this probably has my favorite final battle of the series. It's that final battle with the helicopter, and this very ending scene is awesome as well. In fact, the whole helicopter fight is probably my favorite battle in Die Hard ever. Well, with second place being the final fight in the first film. And I especially really love John and Zeus's chemistry, which is very awesome and perfect. In fact, Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson had previously acted together in Pulp Fiction as well, so this was their second appearance on screen together. And they'd later act together again in M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable trilogy released several years later after this. Although in that trilogy, they were only on screen together in the first film and the third one, which is Unbreakable and Glass. However, despite those good qualities, the reason why it's second best and not better than the first film is because of these certain bad qualities. Like, the bad qualities for this, well, the scene where McClane wears the I hate N-word sign is kind of a bit racist and a little offensive as well, but I don't think it's that really big of a deal, but I do agree it's kind of not really a needed scene. And I also don't really like how Lucy and John are once again divorced, and it kind of makes the whole first film kind of pointless. Although it doesn't really entirely retcon the first, thankfully it doesn't really retcon the first film in it anyway, but still. And like, the movie also doesn't really seem to know where to end, because first it seems like it's going to end with Simon winning, but then it decides to go with a happy end instead, so that was kind of confusing. I kind of wish they just pick one ending and then just be done with it. Like, come on. But despite those bad qualities, however, this is easily the second best Die Hard film behind the first movie. So if you're wondering if you should see a sequel, absolutely. If you are a fan of Die Hard and Die Hard 2, this is definitely also worth checking out. It's definitely a recommend if you even love the series and still want to keep going after the first two films. So definitely go buy this, and here's how I am going to rank it. I am going to give Die Hard with a Vengeance a 9 out of 10. And that's it for my review of Die Hard with a Vengeance. So, yeah, this week before I see No Way Home, I'm going to be finishing up the Die Hard series, because I've been meaning to finish that series for a long time. And the next episode, of course, is going to be for none other than the unrated version of the fourth one. Yeah, so that's going to be for the unrated movie. That would easily probably... Because I like the unrated movie better than the PG-13 cut of the fourth one. And the fifth one is an absolute shitfest, which I will be ranting on after that. But anyway, that'll be it for this review. Thank you all for watching. And if you'd like to want to see more, then don't forget to like and subscribe to Movie Lover 120.